Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman. Today we have two new black key pentascales to learn. Today it's E-flat major and minor. Let's come to the piano to get started. Now, do you remember that secret hand sign I taught you for remembering the major pentascale? Let's make it. Here's the hand sign. Remember, it's do, re, mi, fa, so. This shows you there's a half step here, but there's a whole step between do and re, whole step between re and mi, half step, whole step. Now we can use this to figure out any major pentascale, starting on any key, including the black keys. So let's try it today. Today we're going to learn E-flat major. So first we need to find an E-flat. Can you point to an E-flat somewhere in this area? If you're pointing here, you're correct. We take E, we lower it a half step for E-flat. Now, we can use the hand sign to figure out the other keys. Today, do is on E-flat. So where does that put re? Well, from our hand sign, we know that re is a whole step above do. So we have to skip exactly one key, white or black. So point to a whole step above E-flat. If you're pointing here, you're correct. We skipped over this key, so this, do, re, that makes a whole step. Now, re to mi is also a whole step, so we have to skip exactly one key, white or black, point to a whole step above re. If you're pointing here, you're correct. So this makes do, re, mi. Now we're up to mi. Here we get our half step. So point to a half step above this G. If you're pointing here, you're correct. And we'll call this A flat. Why wouldn't we call it G sharp? Well, we already have a G and we don't want to be G sharp. That's a little awkward, so we call it G, A flat. We try to use each letter once. So now we have E flat, F, G, A flat. Back to our hand sign, we get one more whole step to finish out the pentascale. Where's the whole step above A flat? Point to it. If you're pointing here, you're correct. And that is B flat. So let's name all of these keys that build our E-flat major pentascale. E-flat, F, G, A-flat, B-flat. Now, can you name them stepping down by yourself? Go, name them. Correct answer is B-flat, A-flat, G, F, E-flat. Let's try to play it. Remember, to play any black key pentascale, you've got to move your hand deeper into the keys so your finger 1 can comfortably reach. Do, re, mi, fa, so. Now your turn. Let's try stepping down. So, fa, mi, re, do. Your turn. Good. Now let's try the left hand. With your left hand, can you find the E-flat major pentascale? Finger 5 starts on E-flat, then 2 white keys, then 2 black keys. And this time, let's name the letter names. E-flat, F, G, A-flat, B-flat. Your turn. Now let's step down. B-flat, A-flat, G, F, E-flat. Your turn. Now, I'd like you to pause the video and find 4 different places on your piano that you can play the E-flat major pentascale, stepping up, stepping down. Be sure to use your right hand and your left hand, 4 different places, then press play to go on. Now, I like to think of the E-flat major pentascale as a double stuff Oreo cookie. Remember, we talked about the D-flat major pentascale being an Oreo cookie position, black cookie on the bottom, but this time we have double stuff icing or cream in the middle, the white cream, and then extra black cookie on the top. So a double stuff Oreo for the E-flat major. That's just a fun way to remember this position. Now, what if we wanted to make this E-flat minor? Can you point to which key we would need to change? If you're pointing here, you're correct. It's always mi that has to go down a half step to me. So G becomes G flat. So now can you name these notes? Say it with me. E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat. Oops, that one fell off. Now let's try to play it. With your right hand, can you cover the E flat minor pentascale? Remember, now there's just one white key in the middle and then 3 black keys on top, E flat, black key all by itself on the bottom. So it's black, white, black, black, black. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. Now your turn. Now let's try it with the left hand. Find the E flat minor pentascale, black, white, black, black, black. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. Your turn. Now let's see what these pentascales look like on the staff. So let's figure out how we would draw the E flat major pentascale on the staff. Here's what the pentascale looks like on the piano keys. Can you point to which of these notes would need a flat on the staff? Let's start at the left. We need one right here. For this E, which has become E flat. Remember, even though we say E flat, we put the flat in front of the E. That warns you as you're playing that it's going to be a black key. In most cases, that is. We know about a few flats where it becomes a white key. But in this case, we've got E flat, and point to the next note that will need a flat. If you're pointing here, you're correct. This A needs a flat, so we put that flat in front of it. Remember, from our website, you can get a worksheet where you can practice drawing this pentascale. And where's the last one that needs a flat? We'd also need one for B flat, right up here at the top of the pentascale. So, can you name these notes with me? Let's say their names. E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat. Now, what if we wanted to make this E flat minor? Can you point to which of these notes we should change on the keyboard? If you're pointing here, you're correct. It's always the third note. Do, re, mi, and mi becomes me. So now we get do, re, mi, fa, sol. So where would we need to add a flat up here? Point to it. If you're pointing to this G, you're correct. Remember, we had a G. Now it became G flat. So we put a flat right in front of it. And remember that if the note's on the line, this bumpy part of the flat also has to have the line going right through it. Now we have E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat to make E flat minor. So now you know 2 new black key pentascales, E flat major and E flat minor. To get really comfortable with these pentascales, every day this week, I'd like you to do some stepping and skipping, that great finger power exercise. Let's use the metronome. I'm going to set mine to 100 beats per minute. And we can do stepping and skipping in E flat major. And when we get to the end, we'll do our new chord progression. 1, 4, 1, 5, 7, 1. And then we can try contrary motion, maybe staccato. Do the chord staccato as well. So you can do E flat major, E flat minor, similar motion, contrary motion, legato, or staccato. Lots of ways you can try this. Now let's review those chords. Here's our 1 chord for E flat major. Can you figure out how you would play the 5-7 chord? Let's take your right hand, play the 1 chord. Now what would the 5-7 chord be? The correct answer is these 3 notes. We have do steps down to T, mi steps up to fa, and so stays where it is. That's the 5-7 chord. So let's try 1 chord, 5-7, 1 chord. Now your turn. Now what about the 4 chord? Here's our 1 chord. For the 4 chord, mi steps up to fa, and so steps up to la. Remember, so to la is a whole step. So you have to skip over this key and come all the way up here. That would give us our 4 chord. E flat, A flat, C on top. So practice going from the 1 chord to the 4 chord and back. For smaller hands, you can leave off the bottom note and just play these 2 keys. But if you can reach all 3, that makes a nice sound. Let's try that in the left hand. Play a 1 chord. Now for the 4 chord, your finger 1 is going to slide up to C, but your finger 2 stays here for the A flat. So the fingering for the left hand 4 chord is 1, 2, 5. And then the 1 chord. So note that it has a different fingering for the left hand. Finger 2 plays that middle key for the 4 chord, and then the 5, 7 is like this. Okay? Pause the video and practice that chord progression on your own. It's 1, then 4, then 1, 5, 7, 1. For extra help with these chords, remember we have a worksheet that you can download from our website, and that can give you some extra practice and a nice reference for those 3 chords. So pause the video to practice that a little bit and then press play to go on. So in addition to doing your stepping and skipping, your chord progression, also try transposing some of your old songs to the key of E flat major or E flat minor. Like you could do Lavender's Blue. You could do like a spinning song in E flat minor. Just have some fun taking any old songs like Deb Kahora in E flat minor. You know, it's kind of fun to try some of your old songs in these new positions. Great job today learning the E flat major and minor pentascales. Happy practicing and see you next time. You know how I imagine this position? Black licorice candy with double white frosting inside? Nope. A double mayonnaise sandwich made with burnt toast. Yuck!
Did somebody say double mayonnaise sandwich on burnt toast? My favorite.
Woo! At least somebody appreciates my culinary prowess.